So I decided to go on a purge recently on my old Tumblr. I remember that old site. Yeah, a lot of people don't either. It's kind of trash. But I learned a lot realizing that I thought my Tumblr was 7 years old. Turns out it's closer to like 9. Yeah. So like later this year, it'll be reaching like a 9-year anniversary on a dead website, essentially dead website. So with this video, I just kind of wanted to talk about some lessons I learned while going through that purge that I feel like are important to impart on to others because yikes. First lesson. It's okay to share, but you don't have to share everything. I went back to my page and I shared a lot of things that I should have kept to my fucking self. No, but seriously, it was bad. It was really bad. I'm shuddering thinking about it now. Just like delete, 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 delete. So talking about all the stuff I was deleting from my childhood, you don't have to share everything on the internet. In fact, it's highly encouraged that you don't, lest that stuff come back and bite you in the ass when you're older. And I really didn't want it to. And I was just going back and I was just like cringing. I'm like, oh my God. Oh, I was saying this. Oh, I was saying that. And it wasn't offensive. It was just dumb and kind of oversharing of my own personal life and my personal business and like, I don't know, things that not everybody need to know. Luckily, I didn't get a lot of response retention on that. So I could easily just like find it, tag it, and delete it. Delete it. You can share, just don't overshare. That applies to all sites, especially places like Instagram or YouTube. Second lesson. People can't read. And they really should learn to read. Reading comprehension on Tumblr is probably some of the worst that I've ever seen in my entire life. I've seen arguments pop in and out of nowhere. I've seen people in my ask box saying really ridiculous things, really random things. Things that just come out of nowhere, things that don't make any sense. Just the number of fights and wars and stupid arguments that happen on that website were just uncountable. It was ridiculous. And it was really childish and immature. And I didn't really participate in them, but I saw a lot of them secondhand. And my God, get a life. There's a world out there. Well, we can't go out there now because of Corona, but like there was a world out there at the time, full of like adventure activities, squirrels, fresh air, clean water, like things to do instead of arguing on the internet or just not reading, not taking time and being like, oh, what does this mean? It was like, no, this person is clearly wrong. No, it's not worth the energy. If you don't agree, leave, dude. It's the internet. Log off. And if it's really that big of a deal, really that big of an argument, just talk it out like a person. Or just I don't know, educate yourself. Learn to read. Reading is fundamental. Number 3. If the content is good, they'll stick around. So this is a pretty simple one. Same thing for YouTube. If you make good content, you'll get good retention. It's a pretty solid thing. I didn't make the best content. I reblogged a lot of stuff, but I didn't always have the best original content, so my retention and my returns weren't a lot. Like, I mean, the number of followers I had, it was more than here, but for like 9 years on the website, it wasn't much. It was a little over 1,500. It was like 1,650 or something like that. But like, if you make good content, people will come back. But then I look back at my activity and it's just kind of dead because that website is dead. Like, good content means good retention, and not everybody makes good content. I didn't make good content, so I didn't have great retention. That's just a lesson learned. That's also a lesson I definitely picked up from YouTube, but you know, it is what it is. My feelings hurt. Anyways, on to the next one. A lot of people are going to care. This ties into the last one. And a lot of people won't. And that's okay. And not everybody's going to care about you and your life and your ongoings. Really, at the end of the day, creating a blog is a very vain activity. You're creating and posting interests related to you, talking to people that have your benefit, your interest, responding to replies to you for yourself. And that's fine. And there's going to be a lot of people that care, or there's going to be no people that care. Both of those are going to happen. Both of those are okay. You kind of got to accept that going into any sort of social media, that everything you're doing is kind of out of vanity, not out of, I would argue very rarely is it out of necessity. So there's going to be a lot of people that don't care. And there's going to be a lot of people that tell you that they don't care. Just got to brush it off. Got to move on. Don't invest your energy into it. And don't invest your energy into like getting upset when you don't get the response that you expected. At the end of the day, it's for you. It's your stuff. You're doing this for you, for your enjoyment or entertainment or education, which would be a shock to me, but hey, it's the internet, anything is possible. Next lesson is that sex sells. And when you take it away, you will never recover. This is the biggest lesson I feel like Tumblr has learned. When Yahoo purchased them way back, everyone's like, what an unexpected turn of events, Dave. What's up with this? What's going to happen? No one expected the content ban that went on that website that is almost irrevocably damaged not only its reputation, but also its activities levels. I saw many a blog protest this, both people that were like doing porn, people that were watching porn, people that didn't care but were just like, my content's gonna get flagged even though I post videos of like kittens and puppies. And that's exactly what happened. And so when they decided to put in that content ban, that really messed with their base, because a lot of people kind of broadcast themselves as a form of marketing, which isn't bad. Celebrities do it too. There's still some on there that are like dropping music, dropping videos, dropping YouTube links, dropping other 18 and up content. And the thing is, it failed, and it's still there all these years later, which is a surprise to me, because it's like, I think it was in an effort to make the website more family friendly, to kind of get their stocks to rise a bit, and it failed because they wound up losing, I want to say, a little under a third of their fan base that was, or not fan base, of their follower and user base, because a lot of them were those kinds of mature content creators. And not only that, the material, it wasn't even catching all of the stuff that was getting flagged. So I could still go on my dashboard and see some rather inappropriate things in public, which is why you still never go on Tumblr in public. You never know what you're going to see. But yeah, sex always sells. That's been one of the old rules of the internet. But when you when you have the option there and you take it away, the money's going to go with it, whether you like it or not. And it doesn't help that the algorithm that they use is really, really bad. Like, really, really bad. There have been all sorts of evidence, like, oh, it was a picture of a bird eating fruit, flagged for adult or mature content. What? Whole blogs just wiped out for their content. And I get it if it's something that's like way too obscene, going way too far, but like, you can set a safety mode thing on it for people to have as an option. Just have that be optional. But they didn't, and we're here now, and the mistakes have clearly shown for it. Next lesson. Internet confidence doesn't translate well to confidence offline, but it can help. So one of the things I discovered when I was going back and looking through everything is that in my youth and my comfort, I was bold. I was sliding in DMs, son. I was active, an active conversationalist. And this is actually one of the areas where I was getting a lot of positive reception, to the point that I think I might have been groomed slightly. But we're not going to discuss that. It kind of built my confidence a little bit more, closer to what it is now. I didn't just get self-confidence till like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. But it certainly made it a little stronger. It's like, oh, I can talk to this person. I can talk to that person. I'm seeing like some of my old posts and some of my old replies and some of my old asks. And people are like, it's like, oh, you're sweet. Oh, you're handsome. Da-da-da-da-da. Everyone was nice. To me, at least. I had a mostly positive experience, but it kind of built up my confidence in talking to people in general, but also talking with the other sex. So it can help, but it doesn't it's not a one-to-one translation. It can kind of help develop that confidence to make you stronger or better at that. So it's like, if I can talk to a stranger on the internet and we can form a friendship or a bond or a connection or whatever from that, then what's stopping me from doing that in real life? But you will also very swiftly learn the same lessons of, like, don't be creepy, don't be weird, don't overdo it, like, just really basic things. It'll teach you those too. So you'll get it's kind of like a practice mode, you know. Sliding into someone's DMs on Instagram or sliding into someone's DMs on Tumblr, you'll learn a thing or two. Slide in someone's DMs on YouTube. Remember when YouTube had messages? What a time to be alive. So yeah, it doesn't directly translate, but, you know, baby steps to eventually get there. Next piece is that you will grow. You will age, you will learn, you will experience life, and you will utterly despise who you used to be unless you really, really fucked with yourself when you were younger. I look back at some of my old posts, some of the old pictures, some of the old videos, some of the old audio. I have never internally cringed so hard in a long time. It was like dozens of pages. I'm like, who gave me access to the internet to do this when I was a teenager? God. Oh, and this used to be my go-to site before, you know, everything went to the toilet. I'm looking back at it and I'm just like, I am not the same kid that was posting on this website at the time. And I look back now, I'm just like, hot damn. This is rough. Why was I saying these things? Why was I posting these things? There was a post in there that I found from a personally traumatic moment in my life, and I completely forgot that I made a post about it. And it's weird to reflect on the fact that it was a personal event that happened, and at some point I'm just like, I need to just let this out. And I get, you know, blogs, they're online journals, they're online logs of like events and stuff like that. But this was some wild shit that had happened. And I just think back to who I was like 7 years ago. This is about, which makes me feel really, really old as I say that out loud. This is about 7 years ago when I made this post. It's about 9 years ago when I made the page on the site. And I'm just like, I am not the same person that was in that position, making those decisions, speaking the way I was speaking. Again, nothing negative, but it was just surreal to see where I was then and to see where I am now, kind of as an adult man rather than a young virgin boy. It's just like, oh man, that's just really sad and really tragic. And I had a lot of confidence for someone with no self-esteem. It was really surprising because I guess clearly I just didn't give a shit. So yeah, you're gonna reflect, and you're not always gonna like what you see staring back at you. I realized recently that kind of makes me sad. It's a somber lesson, but making friends is easy online. Keeping them is the hard part. I have friends from Tumblr that I've known about as long as I've been on the site. I was introduced to the site by some friends of mine in high school. You know, this little posse of girls that I hung out with. And then as I grew time on the site, it's weird to think that I've been friends with a lot of these people online for almost a decade. And we would talk regularly. We still talk off and on, still follow each other, still communicate from time to time. And it's weird that these are like serious, legitimate friendships that I have, and hopefully will have for a long time to come. But I also look back and I'm like, man, how's this person doing? Only to find out that their page was deleted, that they deleted their page, that it's gone. And I can't see an archive of it. I can't find their other page. And this is someone that I was friends with for like 5, 6 years, we had, there are still conversations back there that I can look at and be like, hey, how are you? What's going on? How you been? How are things? Da 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 da. Checking in on one another. It's like, oh, friend, hope you're doing well, and all that. And then I got, boom, just had no clue that they're gone, and I don't know if I will ever find that person again. And it happens. Some people leave. A lot of people left the site, some without even deleting the page. So there's just like this archive, this history of thoughts and interest, like this time capsule of someone's personality locked in there. And then some are just delete them and they're gone forever. And either way, you don't know. I look back through like the people I was following, and they're just ones that's like 6 months, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. 5 years since they've been there. There is a record of when they stopped coming, the last time they were there, the last time they said something or made a post, and it kind of makes you sad, because these are still relationships. Like, I know what I said about the confidence not being exactly one-to-one, but the friendships we make along the way, they can impact you.
The real bad place was the friends we made along the way.
Like, some of the decisions I made and some of the people I tried to befriend and be kind to when I was younger have, funnily enough, led me on the path to the career that I'm in now. And so these relationships do kind of matter. And when you lose that kind of contact through your only route and not thinking about, it's like, oh, what's their email? Oh, what's their Facebook? Oh, what's their phone number? Da 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 da. Like, you don't think about that when you're like a kid, or when you're casually interacting with somebody, because you're just like, oh, you are in the mindset that they'll always be there, and they aren't. And all you can really do is hope that they're doing okay, and hoping for the best. And the last lesson I can think of is that trends come in waves and they go just as fast. What I mean is that I feel like every couple of years Tumblr had its own little era. I joined around the beginning of the super Hulak era, when the site really started to take off around like 2011, 2012ish. And it was a big fandom era. This is like right before Avengers and Amazing Spider-Man 1 came out, before, like, right around the cusp of like billion-dollar blockbuster movie cinematics, when like GIFs were all the rage, when the humor was different, the music was different. It was a weird era to survive through. It was like right near the tail end of my high school life, and there's just trends and trends and trends, and it's the same thing now with memes, but it was a lot longer. These trends would be like months to years, and then you go to the next trend, and you go to the next trend, and then you go to the next trend. But now it's like month to month to month to month to month, and now it's speeding up even faster and faster with the advent of the internet and everybody being indoors. Everything's getting faster. It's almost daily that things change, and I don't think Tumblr was able to keep up with all those trends and all those decisions. Its UI is okay. It was making just additions where they didn't really need to be. And I have a feeling that within the next 10, 15 years, it's going to be like MySpace. And it's really sad because it was a really interesting concept, and it had all this boundless freedom to it, and this free interaction, and it was so simple, but it functioned so well. And to see where it is now from where I started, where I keep the app there because I'll make casual conversation with like people checking in. I'll occasionally check my activity. My main blog has like 1,600 followers. My side blog has like 1,400. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. This site is like the epitome of looking at a former glory. It's pretty tragic. It's rough to see. But it could always be worse. It could be DeviantArt. That's my video. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Like the video, subscribe. subscribe to the channel. Were you on Tumblr? Do you remember Tumblr? Have you gone back to visit your Tumblr? You should, or go and delete your Tumblr. Have a good one, guys. See you next time. Be good to yourselves.